mental health activity known as VENT. Vent. A vertical of Richie Knows. Community-driven mental health solutions. By gamers, for gamers. Destigmatizing mental health. It's your brain. Delete the dread from your head. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. Mental health affects us all. We are Vent. No judgment. No judgment. We got ya.
My name is Jonathan Bautista.
My name is Kitty. I go by Kitty Kaboom online.
I'm Stefan Lopezanski.
Oliver Boone.
Micah Greenleaf.
Ryder Davis.
My name is Kim.
Elijah.
Amanda.
Devonta. Derek.
Cyan.
Alan.
Andrew Forbes.
My name is Sherry Nan.
And I have struggled with mental health.
My earliest notions of paranoia came up in high school.
My anger, my frustration.
It finally starts chipping away at you to one point where you do get kind of down. I suffer with anxiety currently, loneliness,
Isolation.
delusions.
Bullying.
Sadness. Fear.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
I've been struggling with depression my whole life.
Still didn't know how to handle it.
When you get under that, it's really hard to get out of it.
Depression is like a shadow, and some days there might be overcast, or you might not be able to see your shadow, and you think that your depression's gone, and then when the sun comes back out, your shadow's right there, and it always will be with you.
I feel like gaming is a good way to get yourself out of that.
Just talking to them and finding peers that had similar mentality and similar interests.
It's very warm and very welcoming.
That was a huge help.
I'm so happy I have a community.
You know, I think that's like the best form of therapy, just talking to
You talk it all out, and it really helps. It really does.
Introducing Vent, a safe, supportive space from Richie Knows. We connect gamers. Hey, everybody. I want to welcome everyone to tonight's episode of Vent Support Chats. I'm Robert Clotworthy. Some of you may recognize me as the voice of Jim Raynor in StarCraft. And this is our, final episode of this particular show as part of our alpha test. And for 4 weeks now, it'll actually expire, Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. And it's been a hell of a ride for us because we are trying to create something that is completely new, completely different. And we're succeeding. I mean, it's blowing my mind. You know, we started out with a simple concept of just, it's not so simple, of redefining or destigmatizing mental health. Simple words, but it's a big concept. And we seem to be able to have been doing this each and every day of this experiment. This is about community-driven mental health solutions. This is gamers helping gamers. This is your virtual mental health spa. This is where gamers can come on this show. They can talk without judgment and get help. You know, listen to what other people have to say. And it's an amazing experience. And we are, I promise you, going to continue this. Now, normally what we would do on an episode this evening is bring on a gamer, talk to them a little bit, then bring on an expert later on the show to kind of discuss the issues that gamer is going through and kind of expand the conversation a little bit. Well, first I want to remind you that we need your input. We need your ideas. We need your thoughts. We need your questions. Because this is how we learn. This is how we're going to get better. This is how we are going to be able to help more and more people. And I say that this show this evening is a little bit different because we're going to be reflecting just a tiny bit. And one of the things that we're going to be reflecting on is this amazing partnership that we have forged with a group called the National Alliance of Mental Illness. That's NAMI, and in particular the West Los Angeles chapter. And this is an organization that offers free services to gamers, to the friends of gamers, to the families of gamers, people that are struggling with mental health issues. And it's an amazing organization. They provided us with expertise, with resources, with the ability to be a funnel where people that are in trouble can then access their services. And I'm truly honored that tonight we get to share this episode with two women who are not only are they compassionate, not only do they care, not only are they empathetic, but they are determined to help people. And that will not be denied. So first, I'd like to introduce to you this lady. She oversees the work that helps nurture the emotional health of many people that are affected by mental health conditions in Los Angeles. She directs the operations at NAMI Westside, Los Angeles, which includes education, support, coordinating their volunteer program, overseeing the peer outreach program, developing collaborative partnerships, fundraising, advocacy, and every day she and her team at NAMI Westside are helping to improve the lives of people affected with mental health conditions and their families, their friends, and the others that support them. She's a graduate of the University of Connecticut. I promise I won't give her a hard time about that. And she's currently working on an advanced degree at Brown University School of Public Health. Please welcome to the show, Erin Ryan. Erin, how are you?
Hi, Robert. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction and for this collaborative partnership. Wow, it really gave me a moment to reflect about all that we have accomplished, that you have accomplished, and then we've kind of provided that support for you guys. I know we had a lovely lunch, I think it was the beginning of the summer, and it was just kind of this concept. And now to really see, the fruition of all of your hard work, it's very exciting to be a part of. So thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Well, thank you. We could not have done this without your help. And I'd also like to join in the conversation. How do I describe this lady? I guess, how about force of nature? She is a proactive mental health advocate who is affiliated with the National Alliance of National Alliance of Mental Illness in West Los Angeles. And she's also the sponsor of the Janice Black Warner Speaker Series for NAMI. And that features talks by mental health professionals at schools, groups, organizations. And she's also someone who has seen firsthand the debilitating effects of serious mental health issues within her own family. Please welcome Janice Black Warner. Janice, thank you.
Thank you so much, Robert. I'm just so honored to be a part of Richie Knows and the Vent community. And when actually my husband recommended me, because when Malcolm called Doug, they've known each other for years, he said, could you connect me with NAMI? Do you know anybody who's a NAMI? And well, for the last 7 years, I live and breathe NAMI. Yeah. So if you have a family member who has anxiety or depression, which 1 out of 4 people have anxiety or depression. And so my youngest son, when he was 19, was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, and it was hereditary in my dad's side of the family. I didn't know what it was. So I kind of jumped into it, and everyone said, you have to get educated. So no matter what your family member issues have, go get educated and learn about it. And I fell in love with the NAMI community, which West LA was West Side Los Angeles, the closest to me, but they're national, they're everywhere. Every community has a NAMI, and we have free family to family classes, peer to peer. And the way I have 2 gamer boys, they've grown up, and I understood, gamers are girls, guys, they're creative, they're intelligent, and sitting in all the interviews over the summer with you guys and Vent and Richie Knows, I felt so comfortable that asking questions to the gamers where they had no stigma. And, it's okay to express who you are, what you are, to be your authentic self. Gamers need their independent sense of self and to believe in yourself, to be in the community, and for your family members to understand that it's okay if you spend 6 or 7 hours, you're functioning. But with mental health, we're all recognizing self-care. And put the oxygen mask on you, go outside, take a walk, breathe. I'm learning the most important thing is to breathe, to sleep. And it's not good to stay up all night. You need 6 or 7 hours of sleep. You need to rest. Not when you're young, you can stay up longer than as you get older, but it catches up with you. And stay hydrated, go on walks, go outside, and learn about mental health and talk about it. It's okay. Everybody around you has stuff. We're all equal. We all have issues, but just don't have stigma and talk about it.
Now, Erin, what got you involved in wanting to help people? What was your story there?
Well, I think just recognizing that all of those wonderful things that Janice just recommended, I think for me personally, there's maybe two things, something that for me personally, and then through a loved one. So for me, when I became a mom, I realized, I am responsible for 2 other souls on this planet, and to try to guide them and protect them and, leave it better, essentially. And it gave me a time, I guess maybe this is the theme of tonight's show, is to reflect. And I reflect upon my own childhood and in my early teens and in my early 20s. And, I had a severe trauma when I was young, and it was buried and buried and buried and buried. And then I had another trauma when I was in college, and that really woke up a lot of things. And I was behaving recklessly, and I didn't know why, and I had a lot of shame and a lot of stigma, and I was living with PTSD, and I had no idea what that was. And it's still right now, my heart is racing, and I'm getting a little emotional just even talking about it. But for me, I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know it was okay to talk to someone. I didn't know that anyone else was going through what I was going through, or had those feelings of isolation, or just complete aloneness, thinking I wasn't deserving of love, or I wasn't deserving of receiving the help that I needed. And, kind of making bad decisions because of those feelings, and not, thank goodness I had a lot of positive role models, and I was an athlete. So I had structure in my life that provided a good kind of rails, I guess you'd say, and guided me. And then I was able to kind of come to a point where I was able to receive help. But if I had an Ending the Silence presentation when I was in high school from NAMI, I could have avoided, maybe 10 years of all of that, internal crisis, and not understanding what that was about.
I have to ask you, what is Ending the Silence?
So great question, Robert. So Ending the Silence is one of our NAMI signature programs, and it's an educational program developed by NAMI, and where it's for middle and high school students. And there's 3 different types of presentations. There's for students, faculty, and parents. So at NAMI, that's another great thing, like Janice was saying so eloquently earlier, that it's really about providing mental health education resources for the person living with a mental health condition and for their family members. So in this particular presentation, it's geared towards the schools. So it will be 2 presenters, a lead presenter and a youth presenter. Both are trained, which we train them. And it's a free service that we go into schools and we talk about mental health to stop the stigma and start the conversation, to let middle school and high school students know that it's okay to not be okay. Like Janice was saying, we all have something, right? We all have mental health. We all have issues that we are dealing with. My father used to say, you never know what someone else ate for breakfast, right? So you never know what someone else is dealing with. So when we go into these schools, it's a 50-minute presentation, and the lead presenter is usually someone that has a loved one living with a mental health condition. And it's a PowerPoint presentation, but it's very digestible. It's not dry, because we use our own lived experience to share. Just kind of like what I was just doing now, kind of telling you a little bit about what I went through when I was in high school. You know, I remember being in the girls' bathroom having a panic attack and not knowing what was happening to me and not knowing if I could talk to someone. I just thought I was weird. So identifying those warning signs and letting students know how to identify them in themselves and in their friends. So that's the first part of the presentation. The second part of the presentation is really where it really resonates with the students because it's a youth presenter that comes in and that is living with a mental health condition themselves and is under the age of 35. And it shows the kids, wait, like that's me. I can understand and I see myself with that person. A lot of our presenters are, recent high school graduates or college students, and we really try to have a very diversified roster of presenters. So when students are in the classroom, they really can identify and see themselves within the stories that are being shared.
Yeah, my first question here, you mentioned, and this is for both of you, that sense of isolation, that sense of feeling that you're all alone, that there's nobody out there, that no one will understand what it is that you're going through. I can imagine that's only, I guess, amplified with the current situation that we have with COVID. I mean, gamers are often by nature isolated anyway. Can you address a little bit of how it is now with gamers? What are the issues that they're most complaining about?
Well, essentially all gamers spend a lot of time at home. And if you spend too many hours at home without fresh air, you need to you need to go for a walk. You need to breathe, but you need to have a community which Richie Knows and Vent is wonderful. There's nothing like a mental health spa where everyone can go and find people like yourself that you can communicate and understand you. Well, with NAMI, we have family to family free classes, which are about 3 months, and it's for all family members to understand your family member. Why do they have anxiety? Why do they have depression? What can I do? And if they have to take meds to calm their brain, or if they're anxious, you learn about all the meds and you learn about your family member and you learn to understand their side effects to a lot of medications that people go on. And some of the side effects, they get tired, they get more anxious, and sometimes they have to take 2 meds for mood stabilizers or whatnot. And some of these young adults don't get their mental illness. It just comes when they're about 19 or 20. Usually guys, it comes earlier when they're early 20s, 19, 20. And what happens is they have too much dopamine in their brain. So they just feel so anxious. And what they may do is go outside and self-medicate with things that are just going to make their minds even worse. So NAMI teaches you about your family members and how you can support them, and don't knock them, love them and understand them. Then we have peer-to-peer classes for young adults where they can go have a community. And once a month, we have my Janice Black Warner speaker series, which I got involved in NAMI because I didn't understand my young family members, and I had to learn more. And as I was learning, I learned about a community, and we really don't have a home in Los Angeles for NAMI. So right now we have online classes. We have, as Erin can explain what we offer with NAMI Westside Los Angeles, you can go on our website and you can go in our chats, and you don't have to talk, you could just listen. And just my advice to you is get a notepad, take notes, because when you feel anxious, everybody gives you ideas of what they do to help themselves. And having a community like Richie Knows and Vent helps you feel more comfortable that you're not alone. Because when you isolate, you get depressed, you get sad. And with COVID, it's really more difficult. So what is wonderful about Zoom and about all of this, you can find your community this way. And hopefully when COVID eases up, we can all come and hug each other and meet up and say, I remember you. I remember you told me to do that. And my advice that I've always done, and years ago, I was a young mom. I was single at 34 with 3 children, and my life things happen. And I used to go to bookstores. They didn't have the internet. So I used to go to the self-care section like, oh my God, is anybody looking at me? I had stigma, like they're going to think there's something wrong with me if I'm looking at self-help books to figure out why am I a single mom at 34? Why does this happen? Like Erin, when you become a mom, you're responsible for other people, and there's no book of directions about how to be a parent. And as we're a parent, your children, some are more interested in sports. My children were interested in gaming at 2 years old, at video games, and I let them go. We used to have in Los Angeles, it was a class called Future Kids, and they taught 2-year-olds all about computers, and I would take them out, and it was so educational. And what NAMI does is we teach families and family members how to understand each other, and we give you tools, and we love you, and we give you a community to understand what anxiety is, what depression is. And now the world has opened up, and there's no more stigma. It's okay. You know what? It's okay if you're having a bad day. We all have bad days. And Erin, you can discuss about what NAMI does and our weekly classes, what we offer a little more.
Yeah, Erin, please expand on that a little bit, because how do people know whether they have a problem and whether it gets to the point of where they actually need to go out and seek some help or some assistance?
It varies for everyone. I think what we teach in the Ending the Silence presentation when we go into schools and we kind of share the warning signs. I often preface this before I give my presentation, because a lot of these warning signs, we're talking to high school kids. And it's like, these are normal symptoms of any high school student, like anxiety, like you're tired, your mind is drifting, these things happen. The 2 components for me when I address this issue, when people say, when do I need help? Or when do I say to my friend, I think you need help, or we need to go talk to a medical professional or a trusted adult? The 2 factors are intensity and duration. So intensity being that it becomes so intense that you can't do your day-to-day functions, that you can't function. Brush your teeth, get up out of bed, go to class, the normal day-to-day things, eat your breakfast, hygiene, those types of things. If those become really tough, then it might be time to say to a trusted adult or a friend, I think I might need some help. Now, we all have a bad day, right? So maybe you don't get out of bed for 1 day or 2 days. But when it becomes 2 weeks, I usually put as the marker. So intensity, and then the second component being duration, about 2 weeks. About saying, like, this isn't going away. I really do need some help. I need extra support here. But again, it's different for everyone. You might know yourself a little bit better, and you might catch it right away and say, you know what, I'm not myself and I need help. And what that looks like is different for everyone. It might be talk therapy. There's an array of wonderful apps out there. We're working with one of them with this wonderful mental health spa. And another is our support groups, our free support groups and classes. So NAMI WLA offers amazing support services for our peers. We have 4 support groups a week, and we have a game night on Friday nights. So, and going back to your previous question, or the topic you were kind of discussing, was about the pandemic. And and I think I don't know about the rest of you, but I feel as if there's been so much crisis and heartache with the pandemic. But if we can find a gift within that, I think that gift may be a new sense of awareness and empathy for mental health. because we have all experienced this crisis. We've all experienced this isolation, the feelings of uncertainty, which is a petri dish for depression and anxiety when we don't know what's going to happen next. So as a collective humanity, I feel like we are taking a deep breath and hopefully recognizing that mental health is just as important as physical health.
I love that, because I look for the lesson in everything, and I look for the opportunity that's there. And this is what this may be. I mean, if we're all basically in this together here. Nobody is immune to this. We've all had to stay inside. We've all had to deal with our lives being turned upside down and having to go inside and reflect. I'm not just saying physically inside your own home, but inside here and here, to find out who we are, what our attitudes are about things. And when you're there dealing with yourself, if you've never done that before, it can be kind of scary, especially when you have social media where you're comparing yourself to everybody out there and it looks like their life is wonderful. It's challenging, but at the same time, that's where growth comes from. Janice, how do the two of you keep your own mental health through all this? I mean, you're out there helping people. It's got to be a strain at some point.
You know, for me, I get phone calls all the time. I'm very involved in UCLA in mental health, and social workers call me, they email me to help. I'm a mental health advocate in Los Angeles, and it helps me to share my experiences. I have no stigma. And what I have my mantra, the 3 C's of mental health. I didn't cause it, I cannot cure it, and I cannot control the outcome. So I didn't cause it, I cannot cure it, and I cannot control the outcome. So you have to empathize. And even if you're having a bad day, just strangers are kind. People are kind. You smile, you talk about, I'm having a really bad day. And they'll say, it's okay. I had a bad day yesterday. My father is 88. And he always said, yesterday is history. Today is a gift. And tomorrow is a mystery. And what I write books of inspiration. My dad's father, my grandfather, Jack Black, I never met him. He passed away when my dad was very young. And he would give in business books of inspiration. And it helps me every day. It empowers me to read quotes. And I write books of inspiration like my grandfather. And in my first book, I went through a lot of exploration. I said I lived at bookstores, and I look in the mirror, not the magnifying glass. I look at myself and I try to see, what can I do to help me? I don't look at everyone else. I don't try to be anybody else. Since I was a little girl, I was always my independent self. I never tried to be anyone else. And I think with social media, it's new. My children are in their late 20s, early 30s. And that's when the internet started and social media. And I never have been on Facebook because I thought that was their community. I didn't want to spy on them. I thought, oh my God, I'm on Instagram. I think it's so creative. I love to talk to people about mental health. They find you. I love to garden. I love to cook. I love finding people. I write quotes every day. I post whatever inspires me. And when people give you feedback about how they inspired you and you inspired them, and it's a give and take, Robert, and it's not easy. Life is not without pain. My dad says it all the time. And I always say 90% of worrying, it's going to go the right way. My dad, who's 88, says 98% it's going to go the right way. And I have anxiety when at night, it just comes out late at night. Like, I worry about everything. And my poor husband has to hear me. Like, I worry. And especially before I go to sleep, I try to calm down. And going and reading quotes and inspirations helps me. And having a community like Richie Knows and Vent is so wonderful because it's not only for gamers. I think it's for everybody. I think it's wonderful to have a mental health spa community where you can go and meet people. And Erin, we share ideas, and we NAMI people love each other, and we want to help, and we want to make everybody feel comfortable because you're all part of us. We all, 1 in 4 people have anxiety and depression.
Well, you talked about empathy, and generally we think, okay, well, that means I have to have empathy for somebody else, but you also have to have empathy for yourself, and that's where the healing can begin. I'm going to put you two on the spot a little bit here because you're both fans of Vent, and we're all about trying to get better. So, what advice would you give us as far as when we move to our next level, our beta test? Where can we make some improvements?
Well,
go ahead, Erin.
Well, I would say take your own advice. What you just said, I think is, and I say this to my girls, I just be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. And one thing I've noticed with you guys, I love that it's a conversation. We're having conversations here, and yes, we all may have different levels of education or awareness or expertise within the mental health field, but we all have mental health. And I think that what you guys are doing is really creating a space for people to feel comfortable and to be able to express themselves in a free way, and feel safe. And I think that's why we are really much in alignment, because our organization is the same way. It's lived experience. We are not experts in the field. We are experts in our own experience. So I think as you move forward, I would say continue to do what you're doing. Don't lose that magical authenticity that you are creating, and creating that space of just being real, people telling their truth.
Yeah, don't let the suits influence us.
Yeah.
Janice, how about you?
I would say be your authentic self, all of you. And my favorite quote is, people treat you the way they feel about themselves. So don't take it personally. If somebody's having a bad day and they're taking it out on you, it's not you, it's them. So you have to, I send them all a blessing, send them a blessing, and be kind. Be kind. I love Lady Gaga. I love, Katy Perry. I listen to a lot of blogs and podcasts, and Katy Perry said in 2020, she had 2020 vision. She had clarity. Being at home, all of us have been at home. I think in a way it was good. We were running around, driving 2-3 hours a day, running around. I fell in love with cooking again. I was a gourmet cook most of my life. And then after a while, I don't want to cook anymore. I just went out. It was easier. But now when I think of, do I want to go to that restaurant? No, I've got food at home. I'm going to go cook. And I'm not throwing away food. I'm saving money. It's economical, cooking for myself, for my husband, my family. And it's a gift to cook for someone and love them. And my advice for you guys, I think, is to have meetups as you've been having, but have, where all the mental health, I think this is bigger than Richie Knows or I think this is for everybody. I think it's a mental health spa where you can learn about yourself and find a community and understand each other. And it's not just gamers. Gamers have other interests, they like sports, they like this. We're all not stuck on one thing. But I've just learned to be my authentic self, take care of myself, because if I don't take care of myself, and with mental health, what Aaron was focusing, we were talking about, you really have to have hygiene, take showers, spend that extra 15 minutes, guys and girls, and the guy, take care of yourself. Look, you'll feel better. And my dad always said, when you dress nice, people respect you more. So feel good about yourself, and now we're all like wearing our pajamas out because we've been home all the time and with COVID but it's okay.
Yeah,
Now,
it's
put a
true.
nice necklace on.
Yeah, if you respect yourself, it'll probably be a little bit easier to respect others as well. I want to thank both of you for joining us, and I want to thank NAMI for their support of Richie Knows and Vent and what it is that we're trying to do, which is to destigmatize mental health, kind of change the focus a little bit, get it out from the shadows, shine a light on it, make it so that it's something that people can discuss and talk about it. That will help take away some of the power that it has over us, and communicate. Understand that there are people out there that truly, truly care. And this is one of the wonderful things about Vent, is that we have brought to you, the viewers, we've shown you the faces of the people that care. They're out there. This is not just theoretical. This is reality. People just want to connect with you. If you're looking for help, they're looking to help you. So I want to thank both of you ladies for joining us, and I want to thank everyone who has tuned in to Vent these last 4 weeks, has been a part of this amazing alpha test that is Richie Knows, and we are determined that we are going to change some lives here and change some lives for the better. And as always, at the end of my show, I like to say a line from StarCraft. When it comes to your mental health, remember, some things are just worth fighting for. Thank you, everybody.